Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Home Services Home Show, where you learn everything you need to.
And a whole lot you don't.
We're going to start doing this every time. Episode 44.
That's wild.
That's a lot of hot air and BS coming through
You
these
think about
mics.
we started this first one thinking like, well, we're gonna do one and see if anybody actually watches it.
Let's just start a podcast,
And like we entertain ourselves at least.
entertain ourselves. We answer some questions.
Now people are actually sending questions and
Which is
Ian's
great.
actually having interactions with people. It's cool. I like
Yeah.
it. It's fun.
It's great. So we got a question from a viewer. It
Big
was
time.
one of two.
Big time.
One of two. Thank you. Appreciate that. And they're looking to become a new homeowner in 2025.
Yep.
And they're just wondering what should they be looking for when it comes to the actual building of that house? Like, what should they be paying attention to? Because, listen, we all know you can go walk through something real nice and shiny and go, wow, look at the beautiful. See, I think they try to distract you sometimes with beautiful countertops or something, right? Whoa, those are granite.
Right.
You don't look at
Anything else, right?
the crooked walls and the bad drywall tape job. Kind of, well, I can deal with that. It's got
Well,
granite.
Yeah, I think in this scenario, I think that the question is kind of tagged towards how is building
Right.
change, right? And you think about just in our experience over the last, let's say, 25 years for each of us, 50 years combined, from the 80s till today, there's been a lot of changes.
Very different.
Think about engineering, and we don't even talk product specific, but you can think about roofing, windows, siding, HVAC systems, insulation, building wrap. Like the engineering that's into the houses nowadays is dramatically different. Like
Mhm.
if you bought a house that was built in the 70s, it was made to leak, right? Think about from an air quality side. You know your windows are gonna leak.
Yeah.
The walls and the walls had a
What did we put around the windows then? Around the gap?
caulk,
Fiberglass
right?
insulation?
Stuff it in there and call
Yeah.
it
A filter.
right. Filter,
They are leaky.
right. So think about
Nowadays, you can build a house that's can be too tight.
well that's where I was going is that the house that's built in the 70s and 80s was made to leak. So you didn't really have to worry about makeup air.
It wasn't made to leak. It just did.
But they didn't know what they didn't
It
know.
wasn't on purpose.
Right. They know what they didn't know.
Right.
Now, engineering, all these smart people,
We're just trying to save energy too, make everything more energy efficient.
by doing that, there's things you got to consider. You know, if you have a super tight house and don't have makeup air, mechanical makeup air, it's gonna be pretty stale and indoor air quality could suffer.
Uh huh.
So there, we can get into this whole conversation about things from the exterior to the interior, but things are different when you're looking at houses today.
Yep. If I'm a new homeowner, I mean, some of the most important things in your home are your roof is very important.
Yes.
Okay. How was that roof done? Ask your builder. What products are on it?
Right.
Does it have ice and water? How many rows? What does it have for underlayment? Those questions, if they can answer them, are going to tell you a lot about how that house was built.
Correct.
Now, we own a couple vacation rentals together. And the last one that we built by a guy named Bert. What's up, Bert? He built a really good home.
Yes.
Like critical details were there and we didn't even ask for them.
Right.
Like he built a super, super good home. Not high end. It wasn't meant to be super high end, but man, some of the stuff I personally built a much more expensive home and it didn't have the details on it that Bert's house did.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily even have to be
Price tag driven.
price tag driven. It's just the person building it. Are they up on building standards? And honestly, do they care?
Right. Well, we just talked about it in a previous episode. Is the building built to minimum standards,
Mhm.
or are they doing it to make sure the person's gonna live in there is safe and healthy?
Yep.
For years to come.
I go back to that house that we built together. Well, we didn't build. Bert built for us, and like coming over before the siding was on, and looking at the way that the house was wrapped and how the seams were taped, even the way that they set windows, it was done perfectly. And I just don't think you see that all the time, which I just knew like when I saw the windows go in and the tape on the window on the sill and around, it's not necessarily code. I don't think that's probably manufacturer, uh,
Patience.
yeah, driven expectations, but nobody's gonna know.
Right.
Takes extra time, costs extra money, but when I saw some of that stuff, I was like, "Man, this guy builds a really
Really
good
nice.
house."
Right.
And that house, I was just up there the other day trying to do some stuff, and the AC was set and it was hot. But the AC was set at, I think, like 78, and it was 74 degrees in there.
Right.
It's just done super well. So, asking, how is the roof done?
Right.
What is on the roof? What kind of windows are these? Are they just the cheapest of the cheap vinyl window, or is it something better?
Yeah, and if especially if a person's looking at buying a house that's maybe a newer house that's a new
I
build,
guess I'm talking about a new
a
house.
new build, asking some of those questions about, "Can I see the installation pictures of the house being built?"
Sure.
You know, can you give me the materials that were used?" Like, those are all questions, and if the person gets kinda nervous about when you ask those questions, probably kinda give you tip you off of,
Yeah. They
like,
should at least be able to tell you what they used and how
right,
it was done.
right,
They might not have progress photos, but it would be good if they did.
right.
Um, you know, Insulation.
Mhm.
What's the insulation like in the house?
Right.
Is there air sealing? I don't believe that air sealing is necessarily a code.
No. You
It should be a standard,
right.
but
I mean, there are some fire code requirements of, going through top plates now they gotta do, and that's different than back in the day, right? Top plates were never sealed, now they have to be,
right.
but if you think about the air sealing between, when you have a window or a door and you have your studs and your king stud and your shoulder studs, now, we're caught there, we're caulking and sealing those, the good ones are. Like, that's the right way to do things. Doesn't mean it has to be that way,
Right.
but there's a right way, and then there's a way to get it done.
Yep.
So I think if you're looking at buying a new house, there's a lot of questions you can ask. What was the furnace efficiency? And what was the, do I have mechanical makeup air plan for the house? Like, so meaning, am I going to get mechanical is this HVAC system going to kick on and put fresh air into this house to make my indoor air quality is good? Now, again, is it always necessarily a requirement? Again, there's a minimum requirement, and then there's like, hey, how can I live healthy and happy in this house and safe? Two different things.
Mhm.
So exterior, window siding, roofing questions, then indoor side, insulation values, mechanicals. Do I have a radon system in the house?
Yeah,
Um,
or did you test to see if I need one?
correct.
My house we tested, I didn't need
Right. My
one. No,
house, we tested and we didn't need one, but they still put a passive system in.
we might have something.
Probably you do. I just we got the tube, it's got the little red dye in it. That's kind of a passive system. It's not an active system where we
Yeah, I
got the
think we
fan.
have that.
Just again,
Look
just
at
keep
that, I
in
don't
mind.
even know.
So, there's those questions to ask are super important.
Mhm.
You know, I- so that's on a new house.
What Another huge one. Huge. Bigly. Um, Landscaping.
Mm,
Grade. Is that something that everybody looks at? That's usually an afterthought.
correct.
It depends on the level of home we're looking at. If we're in a neighborhood that, our starting is $1 million, the landscaping is usually gonna be a little bit more extravagant. A lot of times you're gonna have, um, water drains or a drain tile put in that the downspouts empty into, at least in critical areas. But, on a more like entry level new build, that's an afterthought. You might get a little landscaping around the yard with just some edging and stone, and maybe they seeded your yard. But where your downspouts come down, is it actually running away from the
It's
house?
a positive pitch, right?
Is it a positive pitch, or is that water just going to come back? Can't tell you how many times I've seen it on new builds where they got a downspout coming down right next to an egress window and they have a negative grade. Well, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Also, talking about egress, is the area outside the egress, how was that done?
Right.
Does that have stone in it? Does that have
Green
drainage in it?
tile.
Does that have drainage in it?
Hmm.
Because if it doesn't, that's a problem. In fact, my brother-in-law and sister, they just put an egress window in their home. They created another bedroom, and they had a huge rain, and then they had a whole bunch of water in that room.
Yep.
It what There was no drain tile put in there. Guy Now luckily, the guy was a stand-up guy, came back, he dug it out, he put drain tile in, all is well.
Mhm.
But it shouldn't have happened in the first
Yeah.
place.
You know the Bennises from Baldwin, Bill and Tanya?
Mm-mm.
They lived right across from the old hospital on that street right across from the old hospital. Anyway, I'll never forget they had a couple years ago, they had a big heavy rain in Baldwin, and they didn't have that obviously their window wasn't drain tiled, and they have a video of there's probably 2 or 3 feet of water in that window well, and then it was like, here it comes, and it was absolutely just
That
amazing.
happened in a house I lived in.
That's gonna be
When
terrifying.
I lived South Mass, when I first moved down here to start the company, we rented a duplex, and, same thing. I don't know how much rain we got, but I went down into the basement with a beautiful finished basement with 10-foot ceilings in it. I go into the bedroom down there, and I'm like it was
Uh,
like looking into a fish tank. The window actually it was sealed up pretty well. It just had a couple spots that water was, like, spitting through. It did really well, and then it broke,
right.
and then it flooded the entire basement. And then the landlord was like, "Yeah, I'm not fixing that. So, I'm just gonna tear the carpet out. Sorry."
Hmm. Minimum
Then we
standard.
found out he wasn't paying the mortgage, and the place got it's a whole long story. We got kicked out because he got foreclosed
They
on.
call those memories, Larson.
Yeah, I was paying my rent. He was just pocketing it all. Yeah, it was good stuff.
We call those memories.
Yeah. You know what though? When you move somewhere to start a company, you don't have a lot of money.
Right.
I had to rent. Anyway, but yeah, so looking at stuff like that with landscaping and drainage, because if that's done wrong,
Oh, I mean,
I'd say you got a better chance of having better drainage and landscaping on a 1980s house. It's been there, like right. You're gonna know if there's a problem on a new home. You're not gonna know until you know.
when you think about stuff settles, right? They dig the foundation, they backfill it,
Yep.
and that's gonna settle. So if it's barely got drainage now, what's it gonna be like in a year or 2?
Yep.
Is it gonna be does that cave back and now you have negative drainage? Boy, oh boy. I mean, that basement waterproofing repair is a huge industry
It's huge.
for a reason.
It's a huge, and we know people that are in it. And you want to come in and you want to waterproof a basement and then finish a basement. Boy, you're talking. It could be 100 grand,
A lot of money,
like that.
right?
But then to come in, what if your basement is finished? Now you want to waterproof it. Let's say you're tearing walls out.
Oh,
So you literally jackhammer up all the concrete along the foundation walls. You
put in.
dig it out. You put in rock. You put in drain tile. You put in a sump pump.
Oh,
It's it's a necessary evil though. Now homes should be built with that. I believe it's code to have a sump pump
yeah.
put in right from the get go.
Should be. So here's the one thing that and I know it's kind of got wonky over the last year or two. The whole idea of a building inspection or having an inspection done on your house. The house were flying off the market.
Went away.
You went away because
You even said you were going to get an inspection.
okay,
Like,
might
no,
might
don't
might as
want to
well
deal with
might as
you.
well throw your offer away. Guys, it doesn't matter if you're a first time home buyer, if you're not in the building trades, you're not a building expert. Even if you are in a trade, you don't know everything anyway. You should have that building inspection done
100%.
because guess what? You're gonna pay the guy to come and do it. He's gonna be an expert in looking at all those things,
Mhm.
and he's gonna catch problems. So like, I can't imagine buying a house that didn't have an inspection done on it.
Even if it's brand new.
Because if the seller says, "Well, you don't need one," and they're adamant about it,
Okay.
if they're pushing back, there's probably a reason.
Yep. I mean, I tell you, I sold a house. I sold one of my house about 4 years ago now, and I mean, we had 5 offers in the first day, and no one was getting an inspection. So I was like, okay, no inspection.
Right. It's not what's
That's
best.
just what it was.
It's not what's best for the person buying the house.
It's not like if somebody said I really want an inspection. I mean, I might even said the same thing. No,
Right.
I got 4 people that are willing to not have an inspection.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it makes sense. So
So I would put if I'm a new
that's
buyer.
probably going away now.
Yeah.
There are a lot of homes for sale.
Right.
So, but especially a new home, get it inspected
Get inspected.
because they're going to be able to, and your builder might say, no, 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 we already had it inspected. Everything passed code.
Right.
That's not the same. Remember, that's minimum.
Minimum, right? Yeah, and having an objective. It's when you're grading your own homework, you're not gonna catch your mistakes anyway.
Yeah. And I'll tell you this, in my home, and I'm not calling anybody out here, but there were things that were done or were not done that were not up to building code. And it must have been like the private handshake, good old boy club, and they let stuff slide.
Mm.
Oh, no. We'll let
Be
that
fine.
slide. unbeknownst to me,
Right.
it was all checked
Yeah.
out. Now
On the hook for it.
now I have to pay extra money to have some things redone that I'm not extremely excited about.
Right.
But
So I the question the original question came in like, what can I do to protect myself as a new home buyer?
yes.
That's probably the best advice I could give you is how much pressure the realtor puts on you or the seller puts on you. Never,
Yep.
never skip the
No.
building home inspection.
Your electrical should be inspected by someone on your side. Your HVAC
Mhm.
should be inspected by someone on your side. Your roofing, your landscaping, your plumbing, because those are the expensive things. All your walls and your flooring and all that cosmetic stuff,
Right.
whatever. But if you've got a leak somewhere, if the electrical's not hooked up properly, you don't have, that can be an issue. The
GFCI.
roof's not done properly. If you've got a negative grade in your landscaping, like these are the things that are going to lead to issues that are going to cost you lots of money.
Right. And if you're a first time home buyer, you're probably not going to have a whole pocket full of cash to
Right.
fix things down the road that are going to go wrong. And I look back at some like Doug Moss, good buddy of ours, was a home inspector for a long time. And if Doug, I mean, we bought some properties and we asked Doug to go in and do the inspection on 'em, and he was a thorough savage when it came to that house, and he was going to give us an honest shake before we bought that house.
Mhm.
And I think it was a blessing, and I thank Doug every time for it because there's things that he caught like, okay, guys, just so you're aware, this is what's going on. It may not be a deal breaker, but some of these things aren't perfect,
Yeah.
right? And
You need
and
somebody on your side.
you need someone on your side because at the end of the day, the realtor wants to sell your house, right? The builder wants to sell the house, or both realtors want to sell the house.
And listen, we're not I'm not sitting here saying that builders purposely build bad homes.
No,
That's not what I'm saying. But when a home is built, there's a general contractor who is your builder, and there's a whole bunch of different subs, and things can get missed. And it just happens. So hiring a good home inspector and having that person advocate for you is I think an absolute necessity.
yeah, I would never skip it. If my kids were gonna go buy a house, I wouldn't let them buy a house unless it was
No, and if the homeowner says no or no, no, okay, fine, we
next
won't
house,
buy the
right
house.
next house.
And it's getting back to the point where I think the market's starting to correct and there's a lot of houses for sale and it's getting to be where you can actually negotiate the price on a home and you can get an inspection.
Right.
Because for 5 years, that was like, I mean, at COVID on, you ain't getting an
No,
inspection. You won't get the house.
right, won't get the house.
Nope. So,
Yeah, that's my best to wrap it up. That's my best recommendation is
yep,
protect yourself.
protect yourself. So,
Cool.
until next time, thanks for watching.
See you guys.
See ya.